The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 129. Get Real, episode number 30. 3 things to do now if you can't stop eating and you're not losing weight. Pretty much, you're feeling totally stuck. Hello, welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. If you have tuned in before, if you have not, welcome to the first episode you've ever listened to. This is JoLynn Braley. This is episode number 129, and this is the JoLynn Braley Show. I am JoLynn Braley. I think I said that just a minute ago, didn't I? And I am the founder of the Inner Self Diet, the diet that is not a diet, the diet that actually heals the real problem. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not a food diet. It's not an exercise program. That part of the solution is simple, and it's such a small part of the solution. It's only 7.2% of the solution, the physical side of things, but it's extremely hard to do the 7.2%, the healthy eating and healthy exercise. It's extremely hard to do that when you don't have what is 92.8% of the solution. And what is that? You got to get your head right. You got to get the right mindset. You got to heal the root of the stuff inside of you that drives you to binge eat, emotionally eat, use food as a crutch, keep making excuses for why you're not moving forward, and you keep putting off your weight loss until next Monday, and you do that 52 times a year, and you don't get anywhere. You know, it's madness. But the madness is in your mind, all right? If you were to do the steps to get a weight loss mindset, then doing the healthy eating and the healthy exercise as a lifestyle so that you could shed the extra fat, get to your ideal weight, and stay there. All right, are you following me here? Is it making sense? If you were to get a weight loss mindset, then living a healthy lifestyle would not be any big deal. The reason it's a big deal for you right now, the reason you can't stop eating, the reason that you're not losing weight is because you don't have your head right. You don't have the right mindset. And that's all the work that I do with my awesome coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. And it's really powerful, is the best way I can put it. It is empowering. It's all about healing the root of the real problem so that then you stop binge eating, you stop emotional eating, you stop obsessing, and you move forward. You live a healthy lifestyle that works for you, and you release the excess physical fat and you maintain it. You're able to manage your weight for the rest of your life without it being any big hairy deal. But the only way that you get to that place where it's not a big hairy deal is you got to get your head right. You got to get a weight loss mindset. That is 92.8% of the solution. What everyone is doing wrong, except my coaching clients, because they've got the goods on it, you know. What everybody's doing wrong is they are chasing the diet tips and the physical diets and the diet books and the exercise DVDs, and that information is you're putting the cart before the horse. All right, the horse is you and your mind, and the horse is what will pull the cart, and in the cart is any healthy diet and exercise information that you have collected over your lifetime, but you're not doing it consistently. You quote unquote try, but trying really means 1 or 2 days or maybe a month, right? So you have to get your head right. I can't say it enough times. Mind leads the body. Mindset is 92.8% of the challenge. If you don't step into that, if you don't do the work to get a weight loss mindset, then you will forever struggle with the food and the eating and the exercise and all of that. It'll continue to be a struggle. When really it's not rocket science. Living a healthy lifestyle, it's not any big deal if you have the right mindset. Okay, so I've said that several times. If you have never heard one of my podcasts before, or if you have heard one of my podcasts and you still don't have my free download with my 3 tips in it, go get that now. You can go to www.easyfunweightloss.com, www.easyfunweightloss.com. You can start learning just a little bit more and read that download. It's a free digital book, and in it I give you 3 tips to help you start making weight loss easier from the inside out. And if you're turned off by hearing easy, fun weight loss, that right there is a sign that you don't have the right mindset, because it literally is no big deal to live healthy and fit once you get your head right. And the 3 tips that I give you in my free digital book, that free download, those are not food tips or exercise tips. They're all about your head. They're about what's going on inside of you. So go get that now. You can get that at www.easyfunweightloss.com. Now, today's podcast, this is Get Real episode number 30. Please exit now if you want to keep making excuses, if you're looking for reasons to be offended, if you don't like the word fat, if you are looking for reasons to fail instead of reasons to succeed, then exit now. And you're not going to like this podcast, so there's no reason to listen. This podcast is only for you if you are willing to get honest with yourself, get real with yourself, take a good hard look at yourself. And I got to tell you, if you're not willing to get real with yourself, how are you ever going to achieve lasting success with your weight? Because in order to do that, you're going to have to start with getting real with yourself. You have to stop lying to yourself. You have to stop deluding yourself. You have to stop living in denial about what you are doing or not doing. Okay? So the thing is if you were to seriously, real world, live a healthy lifestyle, and it's got to be healthy. It's got to be a lifestyle that works. Not just thinking about it, not just talking about it, not wishing, not hoping, not praying, not complaining, but really doing it. Really living a healthy lifestyle, which means that you're not emotional eating, you're not binge eating. You are eating the foods that work best in your body. You're only eating when you're physically hungry. You're stopping when you're physically full. Okay? Drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of sleep at night, the right kind of sleep, enough sleep and deep sleep. All of the basic things that go into living a healthy lifestyle. If you were really doing that, then you would be dropping the fat and you'd be able to keep that off. If it really were a solid, healthy lifestyle, not some gimmick, not some fad diet, not some crazy thing that is suddenly the newest thing on the block, but real world, sane, healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, healthy exercise, okay? And real food. Real food. Real food, what's that? Real food is the kind of food that you buy, and if you don't cook it and you don't prepare it, it's going to go bad and you have to throw it out. Fake food is the stuff that you can buy and it could sit on your shelf for months, maybe years, and it won't go bad because it has so many preservatives and additives, sugar, all kinds of stuff in it. So when you get off of the processed foods and you're eating real food and you're using portion control, okay, you do have to use portion control. Be eating only when you're physically hungry, stopping when you're physically full. You're no longer using food as your best friend, your lover, your crutch, none of that, which means that you would need to do the inner work to release those challenges. Okay, so what I'm getting at here is, bottom line, if you were just living a healthy lifestyle like what I described, you wouldn't have an issue with your weight. So then, what about today's topic? What do you do? 3 things that you can do now if you can't stop eating and you're not losing weight. All right. First thing to do is, number 1, you got to get real with yourself. And you also have to get real with yourself that the way to a healthy body and the best fitness of your life is not to just stop eating. That's not the goal either. When I say you can't stop eating and you're not losing weight, what I specifically mean is that you can't stop compulsively overeating. You can't stop emotional eating. You can't stop binge eating. You can't stop your food obsessions and your food addictions. And your whole life is food. Your whole thought process, everything is clouded over in your day with food. That's all you think about. It's like you don't have a life, you have food. And when you're in that place and you can't stop these unhealthy behaviors, and then on the other side, you're not losing weight, because why would you be losing weight if you are overstuffing yourself? The human body doesn't need that extra food, and the human body is doing the right thing by storing all of that extra food as fat because you're giving the body too much. So there's no reason to be mad at your body or to hate your body. You're putting too much food in. Okay? And there's no reason to hate yourself either. That's not, that doesn't get you to where you want to be. That doesn't work either. What does work is healing the root of these problems. But what we're starting with here just right now is 3 things that you can do now if you're really stuck. You can't stop eating. You're stuck in this loop. You're not losing weight. You keep telling yourself that you'll do it next Monday. Monday comes, you either do it or you don't. If you even do, you can't even get through Wednesday, and you're just not getting anywhere. And by the way, I have been there before. Okay? I know what that's like. I know how bad it feels. But you know what I really believe? Is this isn't even a food problem, it's a life problem, and it's an addiction to struggle. There's no reason to keep struggling like this unless you keep yourself in it. And one thing that you do have to do is take full badass personal responsibility for the fact that you are the only one who is holding yourself in this struggle. And if you don't know how to get out of it, and if you don't know how to heal the root of these problems that are creating your struggle, then it is your responsibility to get help to get out of this. Coaching is the fastest way to make your way out of these problems. It's just everybody who's highly successful knows this. Why do Olympic athletes have coaches? They don't just have body coaches either. They don't have physical coaches. They have mindset coaches. Why is that? Because they're smart, because they know that they can't do it alone, and because they want to succeed. Right? They're not holding themselves back. They're not sabotaging themselves. They're getting the coaching that they need to succeed. So, number 1 thing to do now, if you are stuck in a loop, you can't stop eating, you can't stop overeating, you can't stop binge eating, you can't stop compulsive overeating, you're not losing weight. Number 1 thing, you got to get real with yourself. What exactly are you doing or not doing to lose weight? What exactly are you doing or not doing? You probably lying to yourself. You got to expose all of the lies that you're telling yourself. All of the lies. Oh, I don't eat that much. Okay, if you don't eat that much, then why are you overweight? So you could expose that lie by keeping a food journal. Everything you put in your mouth, everything besides clean water. Actually, it would be good to write down the clean water too, because you need to drink enough water every day. Plain clean water, nothing added. I drink 100 ounces every day. Just regular water. That's not tea, It's not anything added. It's just plain old water. Not old water. It's just regular water. You know what I'm saying? Are you getting this? Is it making sense? But if you want to expose the lies, if you're telling yourself lies that you don't eat that much or that you really eat healthy and you're not losing weight, okay, then keep a food journal for 30 days of everything you put in your mouth, everything, and how much. Because you can overeat on healthy food also. You know, you do have to use portion control. I'll tell you one thing, you're probably American. I don't think very many Europeans listen to my podcast because they don't have a problem with this stuff. Mainland Europe. If you were to travel over to mainland Europe and eat out at a restaurant and see how much food they serve you, they are sane. Okay? They are sane people. They serve small portions because your body doesn't need these huge ass portions that American restaurants serve you. It's absolutely crazy. And that is one problem right there. And another problem is just because you're served that food in America doesn't mean you have to eat it. You're the one choosing to eat it. And so that's something else to get real with yourself about. But then also the processed food. Okay, processed food has so many additives and ingredients in it that they really set you up for failure, seriously. Because the stuff in processed food keeps you coming back for more. It's highly addictive chemically. Now, the good news is it only takes 3 days to flush that stuff out of your system. 2 weeks tops. 2 weeks tops. And that stuff will be flushed out of your system. But that means 3 days, 2 weeks maximum of eating clean, okay? No processed foods, eating real food, getting that stuff flushed out of your system. The reason that I say 3 weeks the reason I say 3 days to 2 weeks is because it depends on how long you've been addicted. Give it a full solid 2 weeks and you should be, I mean, this is my experience. Most humans, I think, if you give yourself 2 solid weeks of totally clean eating, no processed foods at all, you should feel totally different and free of the chemical addiction to the food. But it takes the right mindset to even get through that because it's easier to give in to yourself and go back and eat the same kind of stuff that you've been eating forever and continue to keep the addiction alive. It's easier to go buy the food and eat it. It's easier to hit the drive-through and eat it. It's easier to do all of that, to go to the store, get some more, whatever it is that you eat a lot and you know it's not helping your body lose weight. It's easier to take that route than it is to eat clean, get off the processed foods. And the reason that it's easier to just eat, well, 92.8% of it is your current mindset. Your brain actually makes it easier for you to keep going down that track of failure and self-sabotage because your brain doesn't care. You're alive, you're surviving. Your brain doesn't really care if you're happy or not. It's just looking out for you that, oh, you're breathing, you're alive, okay. So there's several reasons, I gave you a couple here, why it's so easy to keep doing what you've always done. Well, also, here's another reason, it's your habit. How many years have you been in the rut of using food to try to feel better and just going to the food? Okay? It's easier to keep doing that the longer that you've been doing it. Now, the good news is you do not have to keep doing that, but what's going to make it easy to stop is doing the inner self work and healing the root of this stuff. The root is what is driving you to stay in the habits, what's driving you to keep thinking all the negative, crappy thoughts that you're thinking that drive you to the food. The root of the problems is not the food or the fat on your body. Those are symptoms. Well, the food is a crutch. that's what you use. And the fat on your body and your overeating behaviors, those are symptoms. The real problem is within your inner self. The good news is it can be healed, but you got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to look at yourself. You got to be willing to be honest with yourself. And that's all the work that I do with my coaching clients in the inner self diet. I've got a proven system that I put together, and I've been teaching it and coaching awesome people through it since 2009. And it works every time, but you have to do it. It doesn't work if you don't do it. This podcast is not the inner self diet. The inner self diet requires two-way communication. And that's how it is with coaching. You got to have two-way communication, of course. Okay, so 3 things to do now if you can't stop eating and you're not losing weight. The first one was get real with yourself. Expose the lies that you're telling yourself. A problem that you can run into with exposing the lies you're telling yourself is that you're not able to see all of those lies because you have been telling yourself these things for so long. What's an example of a lie? A lie is telling yourself, I can't lose weight. That's really a lie. It is. Any human being on this planet who is alive and breathing and is cognitively aware, that means they could follow instructions. And they are willing to follow instructions and take action with specific steps and follow through. Any person who is willing to do that, they can lose weight. The thing is, though, is when you've been telling yourself lies for so many years, it's hard to see them because they become a part of you. They become a part of your identity and you become blind to them. This is another reason why coaching is so valuable if you work with the right coach who is willing to help you see what you cannot see. All right? You got to work with the right coach, not somebody who's just going to pat you on the head and tell you, oh, everything is fine. You're going to be fine. Just keep going. Don't give up. That's not really true if you keep going and you don't give up with the same actions that you've been doing for a lifetime. You have to change your behaviors. You have to do things differently in order to get different results. All right, what is the second thing to do now if you can't stop overeating, you can't stop emotional eating, you can't stop being stuck, struggling, and you're not losing weight, you're not making progress, you're not moving forward? Okay, second thing to do now, make a decision. Make a frickin' decision. Here's another way that so many people are making a huge mistake. All right. They're telling themselves that they will decide to succeed once they have proof that they can succeed. All right. It's never going to happen. You're going to be waiting forever for proof that you can succeed if you're waiting to make a decision to succeed until then. You have to make the decision now in the place that you are now, where you are so addicted to food. Food is your only friend. Food is your fun. You're afraid that if you change your eating habits, that your whole life is going to suck because food is all you have. Food is all you have to look forward to. And from that place where you're overweight, you're hating yourself, you're hating your body, you're feeling ashamed of yourself, and you're overeating. From that place, you make the decision now. You make the decision now that you are going to, actually going to is not good because that puts it off in the future. You make the decision now that I am achieving permanent success with my weight. I am achieving permanent success with my weight. I am achieving permanent success with my weight. That doesn't mean that you know how to do it. That's another mistake, is waiting until you know how to put it all together. If you wait until you know how to do all of it, because 92.8% of it is your mindset, it's your head, it's your inner self. If you wait until you know how to do all of it, you're not going to ever get there. You have to decide right now, I am achieving permanent success with my weight. Now, by the way, what does permanent success with your weight mean? It means that you're able to live a healthy lifestyle without it being any big deal, without feeling deprived, without feeling like you're missing out. You're living a healthy lifestyle, you love it, you get to your ideal weight, and you maintain it for the rest of your life. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that what I just said, it's not a diet. It's not a short-term diet to get to your goal weight and then you go back to your old eating habits and your old thinking habits, because if you do that, guess what's going to happen? Maybe you've already done that before. Maybe you've done it many times. I've had many coaching clients who had done the yo-yo dieting thing many times. I've been there too. But you're not going to achieve lasting success with your weight like that. But you have to make a decision that you're going to do it different starting now, even though you don't know how. Once you make the decision that you deserve to end the struggle with your food and weight problems, then you'll be able to access the how. And more than likely, you're going to need help to do that. Because unless you are already a mindset expert, unless you are already a permanent weight loss coach, you're going to need help to do these things. I'm sure that you're an expert in some other area. Maybe you're an accountant or a lawyer or a physical therapist or a nurse or a CEO of a company, or you're in human resources, or you're in customer service. I don't know who you are. I'm just here in my home office recording studio recording this podcast for you, giving you what I know to be true, that the quickest and easiest way to get to where you want to go is to hire an expert who already has the system put together, that all you have to do is follow the steps and follow the instructions and get to the promised land, call it, What is the promised land? The promised land is getting to the place of freedom with your food and weight struggles. That does not mean that you're going to be eating cake every day and you're going to suddenly lose weight. It means that you're not going to want to eat cake every day once you get your head right. Mind leads the body. Now, something about this is when you make a decision, you're deciding now that you are achieving permanent success with your weight. This is very different from flip-floppy, soggy talk, where you just talk about, oh, wouldn't it be great if I could lose weight? Oh, they have it so easy. That's a lie. Oh, other people can do it, but I can't. That's a lie. I'm going to start on Monday. Okay, well, how many times have you told yourself that? I've been there before. I didn't get anywhere with that, So you make a decision, you're achieving permanent success with your weight, and you commit to yourself. You commit to yourself to see it through. You commit to yourself to get the help you need to do this, so that it doesn't take 10 or 20 years to figure it out on your own. By the way, commitment equals freedom. You got to be committed to yourself in order to achieve the freedom that you desire. Without the commitment, you're not going to get there. You'll just flip-flop around. And then it's easier to just go eat. And it's easier to tell yourself, oh, I'll do it Monday. It's easy to stay in that rut. I have been there before. That's why I can talk like I do. I understand what it's like, but it's not the path to success. It's not the path to your ideal weight to keep putting it off. All right, so I have a third thing for you to do now if you can't stop eating and you're not losing weight. But first, it is time for a commercial break. And then I'm going to give you that step right after this commercial break. It's going to be a good one. Grab pen and paper. Okay, it is time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show, and this week's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is my free digital book, which you can get right now at www.easyfunweightloss.com. Why would you want to go grab this free download at www.easyfunweightloss.com? Because I included 3 steps that you can start with right now to start making weight loss easier from the inside out. It's especially for you if you're struggling with emotional eating, binge eating, and yo-yo dieting. And you have nothing to lose except 5 seconds to enter your first name and email address at www.easyfunweightloss.com, and then you can get my free download and you can read it and take action with it. I'll tell you one more time in case you didn't get it. www.easyfunweightloss.com. Go grab that now and start moving forward. Why not? Okay, on each episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, I give you questions to ask yourself. I highly recommend that you write them down pen on paper. Why? Because there's a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart when you write pen on paper. You will not get that connection if you type on a keyboard. You won't get any connection if you just listen to my voice. It goes in one ear and out the other. So you can pause the podcast, grab pen and paper, and what I'm going to give you here today is the third thing to do now if you can't stop eating and you're not losing weight. So here's what you do. Pen on paper. Set a timer for 15 minutes and then list pen on paper all of your excuses, your fears, your negative thoughts, your negative limiting beliefs, all of the icky-ucky muckmire in your head, all of these thoughts, all of the excuses, all of the everything that is stopping you now from moving forward to achieve struggle-free, permanent success with your weight. So every excuse, every fear, every negative thought, every negative limiting belief. What is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is a belief that limits you. It stops you. So for example, if you believe, I can't lose weight because nobody in my family has ever lost weight. Well, okay, if you continue to believe that, you will continue to be overweight. So why would you want to continue to believe that? Why would you want to continue to think that? Unless you're more invested in failure than you are in success. So that would be a limiting belief to write down on your paper. Excuses. I don't have time. I don't have the money. Of course you do. You have time and money. It's all about your values. Where are you spending your time? That shows you what you value the most. Where are you spending your money? That shows you what you value the most. Everybody has time. Everybody has money. It's just what you are choosing to spend those two things on. That's it. Fears. What are all of your fears that are stopping you? Oh, I'm afraid that if I lose weight, my husband will leave me because he likes me being fat. So that would be a fear. By the way, that is a real problem that many women have, and it will keep them overweight forever if they hang on to that. You know, I believe that you are here to live your life. And it is not your job to control other people. It's not your job to hold yourself back in an attempt to get other people to stay with you or to leave. Your job is to live your best life in your best body, if that's what you are willing to do for yourself so that you can have fun and that you can love yourself, love your life experience, enjoy your time in this life, in this body. Otherwise, if you would prefer to, and it is your preference, it is your choice, if you would rather hang on to all of your excuses, your fears, your negative thoughts, your worries, your negative beliefs, your limiting beliefs, everything that's standing in the way, then do that. Keep all of that stuff. Write it all down on paper first, though. Take 15 minutes, write it all down. All right, so after you do all of that, here's the second thing to do. You ask yourself 2 questions. You look at your list. Read the whole thing. Now, as you're listening to me here on this podcast, if you're not stopping the podcast and doing this exercise, then ask yourself, why not? Don't you deserve to take the time to actually do this exercise? Because if you're just going to keep listening to me talk, what are you going to get out of this? Because you're not actually getting the real experience of doing the exercise. So I highly recommend that you pause the podcast and do the list, make the list, 15 minutes, and then go on with what I'm going to say next. Okay, so you've made your list. You've taken 15 minutes minimum to write all of your negative excuses, fears, worries, negative thoughts, and beliefs down, limiting beliefs. And now you read that whole list. Ask yourself this first question: am I more committed to hanging on to this list of negativity, or am I more committed to my dream of my ideal weight and fitness level? Because the fact is, you can't have both. And it would actually be more powerful for you to go through every statement you wrote on that list. So if you've got a list of 50 things, 50 excuses, fears, worries, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, then for each one of them, read each one, and for each one ask yourself, am I more committed to hanging on to this, or am I more committed to my dream of my ideal weight and fitness level? You cannot have both. You're either going to be committed to the negativity and your fears, or you're going to get committed to your dream of reaching your ideal weight, ending your binge eating, ending your emotional eating, which that actually needs to come before reaching your ideal weight if you want to do this struggle free, and maintaining that for life. You cannot be committed to both. Okay, so the number 2 thing to do, and I recommend that you pause this podcast and do that exercise before going on to this next section here, this second question to ask yourself. Now, for each statement you wrote on your list, go through each statement and ask yourself, who says this is true? Who says this is true? You need to challenge each of these statements. Because the truth is, you are the only one who continues to make that statement true. Nobody else does. So you have to make a decision to challenge the negativity. Otherwise, it's easier to just keep eating. Okay? Hey, I could walk across the street right now and get a huge thing of Chinese food and eat all of it. That would be easy. But why? Just because it's there doesn't mean that I have to go buy it and eat it. Just because the drive-thrus are there when I'm driving down the road doesn't mean that I have to turn in and go eat them. Eat the food. But it's easier to do that than it is to look at yourself and to challenge your negativity and to challenge your fears. Being fat is easy. All right? Stay fat. No one is going to expect anything great from you. No one will expect much of anything from you if you just keep doing what you've always done. Right? So it's easier to continue to stay where you are, be a victim, don't take personal responsibility for yourself, and then nobody is going to be coming and knocking on your door and looking up to you and you're not going to have to be responsible for anything. So it's easier just to keep going as you are. But then you're not going to get to your ideal weight, and you're not going to maintain that for life, and you're not going to release your out of control eating. So it takes courage, it takes commitment to rise up and become your best self in your best body. This can be done, and it's not a struggle to do it once you get your head right, once you get a weight loss mindset, and once you need to have a proven system to walk through step by step by step to do the steps to get that weight loss mindset. I don't know how long it would take you to try to figure all of that out on your own, especially if you are not an expert, if you're not a professional, if you don't have the training, if you don't have the background, if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the certifications, if you don't have all of the expertise that is required to do this, to teach other people how to get the right mindset. It's very interesting how so many people, they think they can figure it out on their own. But if you could figure it out on your own, if you could have stopped binge eating, if you could have stopped emotional eating, if you could have gotten a weight loss mindset all on your own, why don't you have one now? What is in your way? Is it possible that you cannot see your own blind spots? Is it possible that you cannot see your own blind spots? It makes sense, right? Because a blind spot is something that you're blind to. Why are you blind to your blind spots that are holding you back and sabotaging you now and stopping you from getting to your ideal weight? Well, you're blind to them because you have been living with them for so long. They've just become a part of you. You can't even see them. And this is another reason that coaching is so highly valuable if what you want is to get out of your own way as quickly as possible, to move forward, to release your unhealthy eating behaviors so that you can finally drop the fat and keep it off and enjoy the rest of your life. All right, be able to live a healthy lifestyle, manage your weight successfully once you get to your ideal weight. And once you get to your ideal weight and a healthy body fat percentage, a healthy fitness level, once you get to that place and your metabolism is high, then you will be able to test it out. If maybe once a month, maybe you'd go out for pizza with friends. But that's not something to be doing if you are currently out of control with your eating. You're not able to have just one piece. You don't have the right mindset, and your body is not in the right place either. A lot of people are confused about many things that go into achieving permanent success with your weight. Most important thing to remember is that 92.8% of it is all about your mindset. Get that right, and you will be home free because you will finally be able to do what you already know you need to be doing to drop the fat and keep it off. At least that's how it is with all of my coaching clients. They don't need more diet and exercise information. They've already lost weight several times in the past, but they always gained it back. They always went back to emotional eating, binge eating, and they didn't want to do that anymore. And that's why they hired me to coach them so that they could break through their internal barriers and their blind spots that had been sabotaging them and holding them back, and those blind spots that were not allowing them to achieve full freedom with food and their weight. If you want help, if you are serious about ending your food and weight struggles in the least amount of time possible, if you are serious about getting coached because you're like an Olympic athlete, you're really smart, you know you can't do it alone. If you'd love to stop asking yourself, why am I so smart and successful professionally, but I've never succeeded with this food and weight thing, then head on over to www.discovery-session.com, and that is where you enter your first name and email address, and then on the next page there will be an application to complete, and the application is to apply to get on the phone with me for a complimentary one-on-one weight loss discovery session. That is a discovery session so that I can find out who you are, what is stopping you, where do you want to go, would it be a good mutual fit for us to work together so that you could finally achieve the permanent success with your weight that you deeply desire. This is for you if you'd love to stop asking yourself, why am I so smart and successful professionally, but I have never succeeded with the food and weight topic. So head on over to www.discovery-session.com to get started with that now. Next week's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, that's going to be episode number 130, and I'm going to share with you 3 starter steps to stop binge eating. So tune in for that next week. Make sure that you're subscribed to the show in iTunes or whichever podcast outlet you're finding and listening to the JoLynn Braley Show. And I will see you on next week's episode. Remember, if you don't already have my free digital book, you can download that immediately at www.easyfunweightloss.com. That's a way for you to just start learning a little bit more. I am JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Empowering Inner Self Diet, the diet that is not a diet, it's not a food diet, it's the real thing that actually heals the root of your food and weight struggles and sets you free. I wish you your best life, living inside of your ideal body.